Good day, friends. Miloa here, and today we will be looking at the Combat Analysis plugin, so let's go. The easiest way to get Combat Analysis to work with LOTRO is to go to the LOTRO plugin compendium and add the plugin Combat Analysis. The author of this is Landel, and it is a great tool to use when you're trying to assess how your performance is during combat. Now, if you don't have the LOTRO plugin compendium yet, look in the description below. There will be a link to the video of how to set that up. Right, so after you've got the plugin for combat analysis set up in LOTRO plugin compendium, you want to come into the game, then go to System Plugin Manager. You want to look for combat analysis and you want to click Load. When you do, you will see this icon show up. It looks like a sword, and you can toggle the settings on and off just by clicking it. To move this icon around, you need to hit Control Alt / and open up the LOTRO UI, and you can move it around like any other UI component in LOTRO. And say you accidentally X out of this damage window, the easiest way to get that back is to go to your plugin manager, go to Options, About, and Restore Settings, and say yes. Now this will restore it back to the default settings. You can see the icon is here in the middle, so you'll have to move it, and then this is what the combat analysis window looks like. So for the combat analysis, you have two main windows here. The first window here will be telling you total damage that you've done in the fight. DPS is your damage per second, and then maximum minimum is your maximum damage and your minimum damage. And those are really the only values that you need to worry about when you first start using this. If you want to see taken, this is the total amount of damage taken. You just click on that icon up there. TPS is the total, it's the damage per second taken. The green here is healing. This is your total heals for the fight. HPS is health per second. Once again, maximum, minimum. And the blue one is your power, but we all know you kind of just ignore power these days. So the red here is damage per second, and that's what I will use on my hunter. And then down here, what you will see is you'll be able to select individual bosses to look at what's happening. But to generate data, we actually need to do a parse. Hunters typically will come do these dummy parses to test different rotations and see what is happening. Best thing to do when you are parsing the dummy is to make sure that you're standing behind it and that you're at least 21 meters away from it. That way you can make sure that it is not going to be doing any damage to you while you're parsing and interrupting your skills. So let's go ahead and do a parse. And all that a parse is, it's just a way for you to, in a controlled environment, be able to play around with your rotations of your skills so that you can optimize the rotation. Now, a lot of it also depends on RNG, which is the random number generator. Okay, and that's going to vary depending on your critical rating and so forth. So to get accurate data, you need to do several parses and then look at the data across each parse. So let's go ahead and do one so that we can generate some data in the combat analysis that I can walk you through. Okay, so now the key thing to note is typically parses will should be for 3 minutes, and you can see here that it noted that for I maintained a DPS of 354k over the last 3 minutes. I also stopped doing any skills because what I want to do is come here to my combat analysis, and I'm going to click here on my name, and it's going to show me exactly how many skills I did during that parse. Now see, I did 105 for my quick shot. I did 19 for my op shot. This is a little bit low. I need to really focus on getting my op shot a little bit higher, but I did meet my Heartseeker goal, which was to get 8 Heartseekers on. And so by using all of this information, you can then start working on, okay, well, if I change this in my rotation, how would it affect what my damage is? And so it's very powerful. Typically, when you're going into big raids, especially end game, you may be asked to post your parse, and that is just a measurement. That's this number. The way you would do that is you would come down to here, and you see this button that says send to chat. If you click on this icon to the left, you can select whether you post to save, fellowship, raid, or kinship. Right now, I'm not in a fellowship or a raid, so I'm just going to do it to save. And then if you click on send to chat, you will see here it posted what I parsed on my DPS dummy. Now, do note it's posting this number because that's when the dummy stopped, but in a fight, it will be more accurate for the actual fight. The other thing to notice, if you click on this down button here, you can select between, your total over the entire fight or just one instance. And so that's also very useful because you may die and come back. You may want to compare like what was your DPS before you died versus after you died. So this is how this tool is used on a hunter. Next, I'm going to show you what it looks like on a minstrel. Now, when you want to access the healing, when you want to access the healing of the combat analysis, you can just click on the healing tab down there. Once again, it'll show you HPS, which is heals per second, and then your totals. The one thing to note is that you really can't test this out on a dummy because you gotta have a target that's taking damage that you need to heal. And so it's best to test this while you are in a group. So give me a minute. I'm going to try and form a group here, and then I will show you what happens with this. So I just completed Thermal on a Hidden Horde Tier 1, and so I wanted to show you what the numbers look like. So here I can see this is Thermal. The total time length of the fight was 3 minutes and 7.9 seconds. Like I said, this is Tier 1, so it's super easy. The amount of heals that I did, heals per second, was 147.3k, which is reasonable for Minstrel, especially since we had the whole mini rework and I haven't optimized my rotation yet. My maximum heal was 415.7k. My minimum was only 7,000. Now, if I wanted to see which of my skills had the largest contribution, what I need to do is to come here to the healing tab and then click on my name, and then once again I'll see kind of what I had. So I hit Triumphant Spirit 23 times. It did a total of 745.6 million damage, and it had an average of 324.2k DPS. So that was its contribution. But then you see I've got others that are lower, and so the total DPS that you see here is the average HPS. Sorry. Inspire Fellows, I got off 50 times. Lucas Spirit 169. Fellowship's Heart 66, Razor Spirits 57. And so you can come in here and you can see which ones are your biggest contributors so that you can focus on getting them out most. So the one that did the most heals obviously was Triumphant Spirit, and then after that was Court of Salvation, which I could probably spam some more. Okay, and this kind of gives you an idea of how to evaluate your healing, how to optimize your healing so that you know and you can improve upon your skill rotations. Next, we're going to look at the TPS numbers for if you're a tank and you are responsible for taking damage. Right. For the remote fight on tier 1, I took 21,000 damage taken per second. The maximum hit was 255.4k. If I click on the heals tab, I can see how many heals I received. So Ezel Bearer healed me for 24,000 heals per second, and Honeymaw at 15,000 heals per second, and I healed myself at 12,000 heals per second. So the heals I received was more than the damage taken, therefore we were very stable, and this is why my health bar never really budged from being full the entire fight. By doing this comparison, you can diagnose where the problem lies in any fight with respect to the amount of damage taken and the amount of heals received. Hopefully now you have an appreciation for the amount of data that combat analysis can give you and help you to determine how to improve your own battles. This show is possible because of your support and encouragement. Become a patron and get access to more amazing content and see your name here in the credits. Thanks for watching.